just admitted in her new book that I was one of the reasons she lost. And I've been saying for a very long time that the reason the liberals and the Democrats have been trying to put me in jail is because I can affect elections. And now Kamala's saying, yes, Andrew wasn't in jail. So he's one of the reasons why I lost the election. Read her book. She says it herself. Gotcha.
The bro vote, the frat boy flank. I don't think of them in those reductive terms. Instead, I think about these young voters coming of age during COVID, unnaturally isolated, their lives lonely when they should have been at their most social. At the very moment their world should have been widening, it had contracted. For some, the voices that filled the void belong to Andrew Tate, Myron Gaines, and others who grab attention with get rich or fitness content, then deliver arguments that feminism is damaging to masculinity and women need to know their place. Polling revealed that many of these young voters didn't feel they knew me, and contrary to some predictions, they did not vote primarily on reproductive rights or Gaza or climate change. They voted on their perceived economic interests. This is important because Andrew Tate is going to say that they knew me, and contrary to
this is crazy. We're in crazy times, man. We are. Now, obviously, they didn't like influence dudes to vote Republican. I think what they did was they reaffirmed some of the Republican talking points, and I think that the White House started to realize that, you know, they don't have that much of a grasp on men. That's why they spent $20 million to try to get like understanding of men, and it didn't work. It's still not working. It's still not working. So let's hear Myron Gaines now gloat, since we heard Andrew Tate gloat.
Guys, vote for Trump, bro. I know some of you guys were like, well, you know, Trump's owned by the like that. And I was like, yeah, I know, but we don't want a woman in. Okay. And look, even though Trump has done some, we got to admit, censorship chilled out. We're not getting annoyed as much with the leftist bullshit. So, yo, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
So
it is very crazy. It is very crazy. It's super crazy. But guess what, y'all? I got a surprise for you. So you heard about her book. Now guess who else has a book? I want y'all to guess. Roll the clip.
Party. Karine Jean-Pierre was a registered Democrat for 20 years. She served in the Obama and then the Biden administrations. And in 2022, she became the first Black and openly LGBTQ person to be named White House press secretary. And she was in that role for years. After Biden left office in January, though, she became a registered independent, criticizing how Democrats failed to rally behind the president before he dropped his re-election bid. In her new book, Independent, it's an inside look at a broken White House outside the party lines. That is the subtitle. And Karine Jean-Pierre joins us now. Great to have you here.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Gail. Thank you, Nate. Thank you for having me.
All right. So she has a book. Now, some people say she has a book because she's currently unemployed and she needs to get the money. I think she has this book because she has information of what happens. And it's a lot of infighting. Like, it's a lot of infighting in the Democratic Party. I think she shines a little bit of a light on it. And, you know, she's upset that, you know, Biden got pushed out. Now, in this interview, they're going to ask her the question that we all want to know. And yes, she's going to lie. She's going to lie. Unfortunately, politicians are liars. So that's unfortunate. But it just says a lot about every so often now, a new Democrat that was a part of the Biden campaign is writing a tell-all. This is not good. This is not good.
So when this book landed on my desk and I saw a broken White House in the subtitle, I have to say, I thought you were going to say that try as you might to convince Joe Biden to drop out of the race, because what we were seeing is what you were seeing, and he was struggling, couldn't do it. I thought you were going to say you were angry at that, but mostly,
I do too.
What you said in this book is you're angry at the people who tried to push him out.
Yes, that's correct.
Some Americans are going to say, seriously?
But not just the party that pushed him out, the party as it's behaving today in this moment when we need a Democratic Party to be fighting, to be an opposition party. And that really what ignited the book. Right after the administration, I was just minding my business, right? No longer a public servant, going to the grocery store, going to my kids' school. People would come up to me, and strangers, and they would say, what's going on with the Democratic Party? Why aren't they fighting? We knew what was going to happen after this election. Why are they not prepared? So it is, the stakes were really high. So it's connected also to the moment that we are in. I'm telling a story, obviously, my story, and how I started thinking about the Democratic Party and my involvement in it. And then fast forward to today, the disappointment, the disillusionment that millions of people have.
But
and
I want to pick up on what Tony was saying, because I too thought that. And you said, people said, why didn't members of his inner circle speak up about what many believe was the apparent decline of Joe Biden? And you said, you're a member of the inner circle and you never saw the decline. And after that, I wrote, how? Yep. You even write, Karine, that you were on the plane with him going to the debate and you didn't see anything.
Man, dude. You have to be deaf, blind, and dumb. Deaf, blind, and dumb to really believe that he wasn't on the decline. And the thing about it is, it's nothing of his own fault. He's just an older dude. The job is very intense. Like, it's not a regular job where maybe he has a handful of functions and responsibilities. He's in charge of running the freaking country. It's amazing the amount of lies that come out this woman's mouth, bro. She just be lying.
Well, when we were on Air Force One going to the debate, you got to remember his campaign people were on the team, his family was on the team. I actually was one of those rare trips that I didn't really see him until after the debate, even though I was on the plane. So really, I want everybody to know that I take this question incredibly seriously. I do. I was his White House press secretary, which means I had a role that saw him practically every day and traveled with him.
And you saw nothing.
For more than 95%. We've always said, we're not going to say, oh, he didn't age. He aged. And he poked fun at it. We always owned up. And with age comes what happens when you get older.
Which is?
But when we talk about the mental acuity, and again, I take this very, very seriously. I never saw anyone who wasn't there. I saw someone who was always engaged. I saw someone who understood policy, pushed us on the policy, and also understood history. And there were times, I'll tell you the story, there were times where he would call me into the Oval Office and I would be like, oh no, because I knew whatever he was going to ask me was going to be direct, was going to be about a story he read, about how we're pushing back, how we're pushing a message forward.
And you write about the people within the party pushing him out. Some would describe those people fighting for a replacement candidate.
Who's our replacement candidate? Who? And did we vote for that person, or they were just elected to be one? But interesting.
It's fighting, but you also describe this current state of the Democratic Party as too timid. And what can the Democratic Party do to get out of this timid and even some will say disappointing place?
So timid that you've gotten out of the Democratic Party.
Here's the thing. I actually think that the system is broken. The two-party system is broken, and we need it to be fixed, to be working in order for a democracy. Look, just this past Saturday.
That's one thing I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. This two-party system is horrible. It's either you just don't like Trump, right? Which, listen, Trump is a man. Trump is flawed. Trump does a lot of things we don't agree with, but at the same time, he is the president, and we got to give him the same respect we gave Biden. you know, or you are a liberal Democrat, and or you're just a MAGA, you know what I'm saying, where you just love Trump and Trump is the man and Trump is the best and all that. It's just really weird, man. Like the Democrats and the Republicans are just, they're not relatable. Both are not relatable, honestly. Super Christian, being married, having kids is just like everyone's not about that. And then with the liberals, this introducing, rainbow content to children and trying to make that normal. It's just, so like I said, I agree. I think we do need to have an independent party. And I think that party needs to be the strongest party, because I believe most of us Americans, regular ass people, I call them, we're regular ass people. We have a little of both. Like, I'm not 100% conservative. I'm not 100% progressive. I'm not liberal at all. Progressive, where I believe in, some things need to evolve over time. But, dude, this two-party system, you're just getting pulled in one freaking extreme to another freaking extreme.
Millions of people, 7 million people showed up to the street to talk about no kings, right? It was a no king rally to talk about making sure we're fighting for our democracy.
Right.
And it grew. That was the third one. It grew. And so the power should be in the hands of the people, not in the White House, not with one establishment, more broadly.
Yeah.
And so I think as an opposition party, we should see, for example, why aren't there more lawsuits from Democrats? Why are outside groups lining up to do the opposition protests? We should have the Democrats more involved. Why are Democrats not standing in front of a hospital that's about to be shut down because of GOP hikes that is going to cost lives?
Yeah.
Why are they doing press conferences there?
And as you can hear, this is what you call politics. Standing in front of a hospital, talking about it's about to get shut down, is appealing to our emotions so we can get angry. Politics are dirty, man. That's dirty. I'm not gonna look, that bothered me. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, standing in front of a hospital, we're gonna take her off. That was cringe. But that, when you let them talk, you realize how dirty politics are. This is insane. So I'm gonna let Stephen A. Smith, because Stephen A. Smith went off, because what he's gonna say here is gonna be a little bit of a revelation, just a little bit of a revelation.
Of Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson's book, Original Sin. Of Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson's book, Original Sin. Yet another Democrat coming out and telling us about stuff that a whole bunch of stuff on the right was telling us, but y'all swore we shouldn't listen to, while y'all were engaging in cancel culture, while y'all were engaging in excoriating anybody that called the Democratic Party out for what the hell was going on. That's what we're supposed to do now? That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to listen to you now. Okay.
We did have legislative wins.
Sure,
and
but he
that
didn't
is
talk about him that well, though. He couldn't talk about him. He wasn't campaigning.
No. Wait. First of all, he did talk about them. Whether it broke through or not, he did. Tim, he did talk about.
All right, man. That's enough of her lies, bro. I'm done with that lies, bro. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe more Democrats will come out right about what happened working with Biden, because obviously it wasn't good. It's CJ. I'm out.